Ever wondered how the world's richest keep their fortunes safe, especially in 2025? It's a question I get all the time. People see the yachts, the jets, the lavish lifestyles, and they think it's all about making money. Let me tell you, that's only half the battle. The real war, the one that separates the temporarily rich from the generationally wealthy, is about keeping that money. Making $1 million is one thing. Protecting it from market crashes, inflation, lawsuits, and the tax man is a completely different and, frankly, more brutal sport. It's a game of financial chess, where every move is calculated years, even decades in advance. So how do they do it? It's not about stuffing cash under a mattress, I can assure you of that. That's a fool's game. These are strategies used by billionaires today, sophisticated and robust methods designed to build an impenetrable fortress around their assets. These aren't just tips you find in a generic finance book. They are the bedrock principles of capital preservation at the highest level. We're talking about complex, multi-layered approaches that anticipate global shifts and protect wealth against every conceivable threat. It's a world far beyond simple stocks and bonds. In this video, I'm going to pull back the curtain. I'm going to walk you through the 5 core pillars that the ultra-wealthy are using right now in 2025 to shield their fortunes. We'll dissect their diversification tactics, look at why they go offshore, unravel the power of trusts, explore the world of alternative assets, and reveal why their most valuable investment might just be the people they hire. Forget what you think you know about wealth management. This is how the real money stays safe. Pay attention, because these principles, in some form, can be applied to any portfolio, including yours. Let's get started. When most people hear diversification, they think of a simple pie chart. 60% stocks, 40% bonds. Let me be blunt, that's amateur hour. For a billionaire, that's not diversification. It's a rounding error. True diversification at this level is a global, multi-asset class strategy that looks more like a spiderweb than a pie. It's about ensuring that no single event, no matter how catastrophic, can wipe you out. If the US stock market crashes, their investments in European real estate, Asian infrastructure projects, and South American agricultural commodities are designed to hold firm or even appreciate. It's about creating a portfolio of non-correlated assets, a financial ecosystem where the failure of one part doesn't trigger a domino effect across the entire structure. They don't just diversify across asset classes, they diversify geographically and politically. They hold assets in different currencies, dollars, euros, yen, Swiss francs, to hedge against currency devaluation. They invest in countries with stable political systems and those with emerging high-growth potential. They'll own a piece of a tech startup in Silicon Valley, a vineyard in France, a commercial real estate portfolio in Singapore, and government bonds from a stable country like Switzerland. Each investment is a brick in a fortress, and each brick is sourced from a different quarry. This isn't just about minimizing risk. It's about capitalizing on global opportunities simultaneously while building a buffer against localized disasters. Think of it this way. You don't build a ship with only one bulkhead. You build it with multiple watertight compartments. If one compartment floods, the others seal off, and the ship stays afloat. That is precisely the principle billionaires apply to their wealth. They are constantly stress testing their portfolio against every imaginable scenario: a pandemic, a regional war, a sudden change in tax law, a trade embargo. The goal is simple and ruthless: survival. They aren't just investing for returns, they are investing for resilience, ensuring their capital survives to fight another day, no matter what storm hits the global economy. The term offshore accounts often conjures images of shady dealings and tax evasion. Let's clear the air. While they can be misused, for the ultra-wealthy, their primary purpose is strategic asset protection and diversification, not hiding from the taxman. Think about it. If your entire fortune is tied up in one country's banking system, you are completely at the mercy of that country's political and economic stability. What happens if the government suddenly imposes capital controls? Or if the local currency collapses? Your wealth, which you spent a lifetime building, could be devalued or trapped overnight. It's an unacceptable risk. This is where financial havens like Switzerland, Singapore, or the Cayman Islands come into play. These jurisdictions are chosen for their long histories of political stability, strong banking privacy laws, and sophisticated financial services. Holding assets in a Swiss bank, for example, isn't about avoiding U.S. taxes. You still have to report it. It's about placing a portion of your wealth in a bastion of stability, a financial lifeboat that is insulated from the turmoil that might be happening in your home country. It's a hedge against sovereign risk, the risk that a government will do something to jeopardize your assets. It's financial planning on a geopolitical scale. Furthermore, these offshore structures provide access to investment opportunities that may not be available domestically. They can offer a gateway to international markets, private equity deals, and specialized funds that cater to a global clientele. It's also a powerful tool for privacy and lawsuit protection. By placing assets in an international jurisdiction, it becomes significantly more difficult and expensive for frivolous lawsuits to target that wealth. It adds a crucial layer of separation between the individual and their assets. It's not about being shady, it's about being smart, prudent, and building a global financial footprint that can withstand localized shocks. This is where wealth preservation gets truly sophisticated. If diversification and offshore accounts are the walls of the fortress, trusts and foundations are the legal architecture, the keeps, towers, and secret passages that make it impenetrable. A trust is a legal entity that allows a third party, a trustee, to hold assets on behalf of a beneficiary or beneficiaries. When a billionaire transfers assets, stocks, real estate, entire companies, into an irrevocable trust, they legally no longer own them. This simple act has profound implications. Since they don't own the assets, those assets are shielded from personal lawsuits, creditors, and even messy divorce proceedings. The power of this cannot be overstated. It's about separating the person from the wealth. The assets are managed by professional trustees according to the strict terms laid out in the trust document, ensuring they are managed for the long-term benefit of the heirs. This is the primary mechanism for multi-generational wealth transfer. It avoids the public, costly, and often contentious process of probate court. Instead of the fortune being carved up and diminished with each generation, it's preserved and grown within a protective legal structure, with distributions made according to the founder's original wishes for centuries to come. It's how families like the Rockefellers have maintained their influence for over a century. Foundations, on the other hand, serve a dual purpose of philanthropy and financial strategy. By donating assets to a private family foundation, a billionaire can receive significant tax deductions while maintaining control over how that money is used for charitable causes. The foundation's assets can continue to be invested and grow, tax-free, creating a perpetual philanthropic legacy. It allows them to support causes they care about, enhance their public image, and instill values in their children, all while strategically managing their overall tax burden. These legal structures are not loopholes. They are complex, legitimate tools designed for ultimate asset protection and legacy planning. When the stock market is a roller coaster and inflation is eating away at cash, where do you put your money? The ultra-wealthy have long understood that true diversification means looking beyond traditional financial instruments. They turn to the world of alternative assets, tangible, often beautiful objects that hold their value and often appreciate completely independently of what's happening on Wall Street. I'm talking about fine art, rare collectibles, vintage cars, fine wine, and even high-end real estate in prime global cities. These are not just passion projects. They are calculated investments. Think about it. A rare Picasso or a vintage 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO doesn't care about interest rate hikes or quarterly earnings reports. Their value is driven by scarcity, provenance, and the enduring human desire for the rare and beautiful. These assets act as a powerful hedge against inflation and market volatility. During times of economic uncertainty, while paper assets may plummet, the value of these tangible goods often soars as wealthy individuals seek a safe haven for their capital. It's a way of storing wealth in a physical form that can't be devalued by a central bank's printing press. And now, in 2025, we have a new player in this space: digital assets, or cryptocurrencies. While still volatile and viewed with caution, many billionaires are allocating a small strategic portion of their portfolio, what I call a speculative diversifier, to assets like Bitcoin. They see it as a potential digital store of value, a digital gold that is decentralized and exists outside the traditional financial system. They aren't betting the farm on it, but they are acknowledging its potential as a hedge against systemic risk in the legacy financial world. Whether it's a Monet, a bottle of Screaming Eagle Cabernet, or a cold storage wallet of Bitcoin, the principle is the same: own scarce, desirable assets that the mob can't easily get their hands on. Here's the single biggest secret, the one that underpins everything else we've discussed. No billionaire does this alone. It's impossible. The complexity of managing global assets, navigating international tax law, and anticipating geopolitical shifts is far beyond the capacity of any one person, no matter how brilliant. Their single most important investment is not in a stock or a building, but in people. They assemble a brain trust, a dedicated team of the world's best and brightest minds: tax attorneys, international investment advisors, estate planners, and political risk analysts. This team is their personal intelligence agency. These aren't your average financial advisors from the local bank. These are specialists who live and breathe this stuff. The tax attorney doesn't just know the US tax code, they understand the tax treaties between a dozen different countries. The political advisor isn't just watching the news. They have sources on the ground in key regions, providing intelligence on potential regulatory changes or political instability long before it becomes a headline. This team works in concert, ensuring that every decision, from buying a piece of art to setting up an offshore trust, is analyzed from every possible angle. Their job is to see around corners and protect the fortune from threats that the owner might not even know exist. The cost of this brain trust is astronomical, often running into millions of dollars a year, but it's considered the best money they can spend. Why? Because a single piece of bad advice or a missed regulatory change could cost them hundreds of millions. They are paying for foresight, for access, and for a level of expertise that allows them to navigate the treacherous waters of the global economy with confidence. They understand that you can't be an expert in everything. The ultimate strategy for shielding wealth is to hire the people who are. Your team is your moat, your advisors are your watchtowers, and their collective wisdom is the ultimate shield. So there you have it. Diversification on a global scale, the strategic use of offshore jurisdictions, the ironclad legal protection of trusts, the inflation hedge of alternative assets, and the indispensable wisdom of a dedicated brain trust. These are just a few ways billionaires are staying ahead in 2025. It's not one single strategy, but a combination of all of them working in harmony. It's a dynamic, ever-evolving defense system designed for one purpose: to make wealth permanent. It's about moving beyond simply making money to mastering the art of keeping it. This isn't about being greedy. It's about being prudent on a massive scale. It's about building a financial legacy that can withstand the tests of time, markets, and politics, providing security for their families and funding their philanthropic ambitions for generations to come. The principles of protecting capital, hedging against risk, and seeking the best advice are universal. While you may not be setting up a Swiss trust tomorrow, you can start thinking about how to better diversify your own assets, protect them from unforeseen risks, and ensure you're getting the best possible financial advice for your situation. The world of money is a battlefield, and you need to be armed with the right strategies to not just survive, but to win. Building wealth is a climb, but preserving it is a siege. You have to be constantly vigilant, constantly adapting, and constantly learning. So I'm curious, which strategy surprised you the most? Was it the complexity of their legal structures, or the move into tangible assets like art and wine? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about how to build and protect your own financial fortress, make sure you subscribe. There's always more to learn.